I'm Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's News Update. The editorial board of the Washington Post published an opinion piece in their paper on Tuesday, saying that criticism of Israel over building in the West Bank is counterproductive. The article follows criticism of Israel from the United Nations Security Council, as well as from the United States, for Israel's intended construction in the settlements, which it announced after the Palestinians' upgraded status bid at the UN. The Post says that while the criticism of Israel is appropriate in the sense that the unilateral action from Israel, like the unilateral action by the Palestinians at the UN, complicates negotiations between the two parties. But, it says, the reaction is also counterproductive because it reinforces two mistaken but widely held notions: that the settlements are the principal obstacle to a deal, and that further construction will make a Palestinian state impossible. The article cites that Israel's current government, like its predecessors, has limited its building almost totally to areas that both sides expect Israel will ultimately annex through land swaps in a final peace deal. Noting data by the S. Daniel Abraham Center for Middle East Peace, the Post piece says that more than 80% of Jewish settlers could be included in Israel if the country annexed just more than 4% of the West Bank, less than 5% proposed by President Bill Clinton 12 years ago. The article also criticizes UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon for calling Netanyahu's building announcements a, quote, almost fatal blow, unquote, to the two-state solution, saying such a statement is harmful because it puts pressure on Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to make a settlement construction freeze a precondition for restarting peace talks. If Security Council members are really interested in progress towards Palestinian statehood, the Washington Post editorial board writes, they should pressure Abbas to stop using settlements as an excuse for not negotiating and, quote, cool their own overheated rhetoric, unquote. Israel's chief rabbis Yona Metzger and Shlomo Amar are demanding that the European Union form a committee to examine the extent of anti-Semitism in Europe and to propose solutions for the growing problem. The rabbis sent a letter to EU President Herman Van Rompuy, where they claim that since the massacre in Toulouse last year, anti-Semitism has been on the rise in Europe. The letter followed the alleged assault of an American yeshiva student in Italy on Tuesday. According to Arutz Sheva, the man was visiting from the U.S. with his family in Venice when he was beaten unconscious. He is said to be recovering, and the police are investigating the incident. And staying with Europe, the government of Hungary announced that it will raise pensions for Holocaust survivors there and establish a Holocaust Memorial Committee beginning in the new year. Hungary's government website states that 2014 will be the 70th anniversary of the darkest chapter in the Hungarian Holocaust, namely the extermination of some 400,000 Hungarian Jews by the Nazis. The website says that in order to mourn, remember, and increase awareness of the tragic events, the government will establish the Hungarian Holocaust Memorial 2014 Committee. It also says the committee was established on the recommendation of various Hungarian Jewish organizations and the proposal of Hungary's Prime Minister. The committee became active on January the 1st of this year and will perform activities through December of 2014. It will be headed by State Secretary in charge of the Prime Minister's office, Janos Lazar, and several Jewish organizations and Jewish leaders in the country, including the Israeli ambassador to Hungary, are being asked to participate. The government also announced that the new year will see a rise in pensions to Holocaust survivors by 50% from January of 2013 and a further 50% in 2014. Two of the oldest Jewish congregations in the U.S. are going head-to-head over a pair of silver Torah ornaments. The Associated Press reports that a Rhode Island judge is set to hold a settlement conference on Thursday to determine whether Touro Synagogue, located in Newport, Rhode Island, is allowed to sell a pair of 240-year-old rimonim, or Torah ornaments, valued at $7.4 million. New York City congregation Sharit Israel is disputing the sale. Touro is the oldest synagogue building in the country. Sharit Israel, also known as the Spanish-Portuguese synagogue, is the oldest Jewish congregation in the country. Touro had agreed to sell the Rimonim to Boston's Museum of Fine Arts, with the proceeds to be used to set up an endowment to care for the Touro building. But Sharit Israel, which has served as the trustee for Touro for almost 200 years, objects. They say they are the rightful owners of the ornaments. A museum spokeswoman told the AP that the institution has withdrawn its offer to buy the ornaments until the legal dispute over their ownership is resolved. And finally today, Hadassah, the Women's Zionist Organization of America, has raised more than $65,000 towards the planting of trees in Israel, honoring the 26 victims of the December 14th shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. Over 2,000 people donated to the cause, enough for over 3,600 trees. Hadassah National President Marcy Natan planted the first tree in memory of the Newtown victims on Sunday, saying trees are a biblical symbol of life and the saplings donated will bloom grove after grove in the memory of the children and the staff in Newtown. The trees will be part of the Holy Land Family Park in Beersheba, a 1,700-acre water, environmental, and commercial area being constructed by the Jewish National Fund. And that's Shalom TV's news update. I'm Teisha Bader.